Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with a brand new best of 5. Hello to the YouTube vodders later. I'm casting with RotterdaM today. And I guess I'll just throw both these intros out real quick. To the bottom right, we have our Team Liquid player. He's playing from Canada. It is
TLO.
And his opponent in the top left, a good Terran, to say the least. Give it up for uThermal.
I'm actually really excited to see uThermal just play a best of 5 against Zerg, because we only saw him play against Ragnarok at IEM, and he looked incredibly good in those games. All 3 of them, in my opinion, even the one that he lost.
You know, it's funny. It's like I don't know if you have the same like feeling about uThermal. I feel like historically his TvZ has been one of his worst matchups, but lately it's been looking like one of his best.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a how to say that. I think he had his ups and downs. I think he was actually good against Zerg. But I think it's safe to say that in 2019, it didn't really matter at one point if you were good in TvZ or not, because Zerg was just better than Terran. Yeah. So I think he was very good in the matchup, but he just couldn't win anymore because the maps and the matchup was just a little bit imbalanced, so it just wasn't fair. But I think right now we are definitely heading in the right direction. I don't want to start a balance discussion about where we are, but I feel like it's getting more fair, and I think that allows uThermal to shine again in this matchup like he's supposed to.
I just feel like walking into a room with StarCraft nerds and just saying the word Zerg is like pulling the pin on a grenade. You just walk away. Just like,
yeah.
Everyone's gonna argue for the next like half. Zerg, did he say Zerg? Fuck Zerg.
Yeah, it's a little bit like politics in that regard, right? You say,
man.
You say 2 things and everybody goes off. It's like, okay, guys. I have so many people as well. Like in the old days, I used to reply to every single comment that was in my chat. And these days, when somebody comes in, it's like, hey, Roddy, what do you think about the state of Zerg right now? Like, I just stopped answering. I'm just like, you know,
hey,
I'm just
Roddy,
not even going to go there anymore.
I saw like 5 popular Reddit posts that all agreed Zerg is broken right now. How do you think we should fix them?
Yeah. It's like, no, I just want to play some games today, man. Like, I'm really not in the mood for this discussion once again.
Yeah, ask me after I've lost 5 maps to Zerg, then we can have this discussion, right?
Yeah.
So
5 barcode games in a row.
A couple things to go over real quick, guys, because the action will be picking up here very soon. I didn't really go over this earlier, but just so you guys know, I am splitting tips with Roddy today. So thank you for the bits and thank you for the sub. Time to tell, 68 months. Damn. But yeah, so if you guys want to support me and Roddy today, anything you donate in the channel, any bits you cheer, I will be splitting with him 50-50. Just full transparency there. And thank you again so much, everybody who's shown up for the cast today. We already have like almost 2,000 viewers at like what, an hour into the show. This is awesome.
Yeah, let's hope that this best of 5 has a little more to get excited over than the previous one. Even though, I mean, I can obviously appreciate the performance that Clem put up. Clem looked really good from start to finish, but yeah, that's not what we want, right? We want to see a little back and forth.
I'm greedy, so I am actually 100% cheering for TLO in this series, just because I want to see another TvZ in the finals. Even though I know uThermal and Clem would be a sick TvT, I want to see like this TvZ matchup prevail.
Well, this is getting interesting, Riff, because let's just go over to the build orders real quick. We see that uThermal is going 3 bases, but he's also getting very quick stim. TLO on the other end is already dropping his Roach Warren. And I kind of feel like this Roach Warren is a little too early for it to be just a safety Roach Warren. But obviously it's in the front as well, so it's been scouted already by the Reaper. uThermal knows what's up. But now I kind of wonder if we're going to see a massive swell of Roach. Well, we see 4, 5. Okay. Is he going to hold
6.
on that Roach button?
I mean, at the very least, this is enough to make some Ravagers to cause some real threats. Thank you for the $10, by the way. We'll read that donation afterwards. We'll save those for between games, but much appreciated nonetheless. This needed to be scouted, so uThermal sees this coming, right? Or he should with these Hellions.
I'm actually a bit surprised by this build order. I'm a bit confused, because that is a lot of Roaches to be producing this early on.
So I agree, and I don't think it's a strategy we see versus TvZ often. And I said all of these things, and then uThermal lost to this in the NA Open. So, like, TLO bullying to victory kind of is just like a very brute force attack. This doesn't seem to be that committed, though, because he is droning out of this.
No, but that's the thing, though. It's not that committed, but this is still a big hit to his economy. Because this all could have been Roaches, so that Zerg economy really could have been a lot further along than what it actually is. If that bunker finishes up, I really don't think these Roaches can achieve anything here at all. And I think that Dario agrees. That's why he's going into 11 drones at this point, and he's not even trying to bust that bunker. But now the problem is that he's not going to have any tech units for forever. he starts the lair now, 5 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, while Stim is already done. So eventually, uThermal is going to be able to fly around with his medevacs, and TLO is not really going to have anything that's good in pinning those medevacs in the corner or keeping them stuck, shutting them down. This is going to be annoying, man. I really don't like this opening for TLO. I'm sorry.
Well, I think the opening did do something very important, right? If uThermal wasn't playing Bio and he had only really Hellions to fight with, maybe a single Cyclone, TLO could have totally taken a fight there. But I think it was revealing all the Bio that confirmed that, okay, this is not the path to go down, and that's why he cuts his investment to the Roaches. I also don't like this. I'm with you on that, but I can kind of see some of the logic behind it. Because TLO's not a guy who is reckless. He doesn't gamble. He always has a reason to do things.
Well, it felt a little gambly to me, because if indeed he was just hoping for a mech, the Hellion is going to sweep in, by the way, from the top side, and they'll get a couple of drones so far. All of this is just so nice for uThermal. It's lost mining time, it delays the economy of TLO even further to really take off. And now the first two medevacs have been sent out to the other side of the map, and this is where I think it's going to be really hard for TLO not to take any damage. If he survives, let's say the next minute, without taking any damage, I'd be like, damn, well done. I think that's almost impossible.
Well, as long as he's on top of the drops, it definitely helps mitigate the potential. Unfortunately, though, those lings were not on the right elevation for this.
Yep. And don't forget, those lings don't have upgrades yet either, so that's an Overlord going down, that's quite a few Zerglings going down. A Ravager gets picked off, oh my goodness.
Oh, he's targeting down the medevacs with the Queens, that's great, but now the Queens are gone, there's nothing left to shoot that last medevac.
I think that was a very good start for uThermal. That's already quite a bit of damage. He's thinning out the link count. Now he's going to unload those units on the low ground. He's going to put some damage on this hatchery. In the end, Dario is somewhat fine here, but he's definitely struggling a little bit in shutting this down.
He takes cosmetic damage, right? Like, it's the army trading out. He doesn't get blown away with the drones. He doesn't lose a base for this. So kind of on track to still have a good economy. But when we look at the income difference right now, uThermal's actually had these huge spikes from this third base. I mean, you pointed it out. He got a very fast third base.
I mean, the Hydra den is done now, but obviously these Hydras are not going to have any upgrades for a long time. At least Baneling speed is done, so maybe a couple of speed Banes can connect with these Marines on creep, and then it's suddenly not all that bad. Maybe a little link counterattack. Oh, I like that wall of supply depots, by the way. That's cool.
Yeah, that's going to be very helpful here. The siege tank covers the splash damage of the open gap, so TLO's pushed off this. Now he's got to come back home and deal with his drop, which is, by the way, not just one, but two.
Yep. Banelings are going to show up and save the day for now. I mean, Dario's hanging in there. I was a little more worried for him, and yes, it was a bit ugly at first because he lost the Queen, lost an Overlord, lost quite a few Zerglings. But losing Lings is not the end of the world, right, for Zerg? They have plenty of those in general.
So I love this. You almost put them stirred up here. Like, he's obviously very aware that Burrow and Roaches might be a problem at some point, but incidentally helps to shoo off the Overlord as the medevac picked up. That was just kind of a funny little interaction to see.
Yeah, I did. I was wondering. I was like, I wonder why that medevac or that Overlord is suddenly being chased. That explains it, Rick. That explains.
Well, this drop, it got. I don't think it got seen by the Zerglings, unfortunately. But TLO is in position for this. Ravagers and Banelings do respond in kind. I gotta give a little nod to uThermal there. It's a small detail, but like taking a second to focus fire one Baneling before picking up is a big difference than just picking up running away.
What I also really like about the way the TvZ evolved, there was a time that Terran players would just move out all the time, right, with their army. And then they would just get wrecked by these Zergling one-buys over and over and over again. And they'd be like, man, this is so annoying. And now at this point, they just realized, like, hey, that's not the right way to play. Let's just send out 8 Marines here, 60 Marines there, be a little bit annoying. But let's make sure that whatever we're doing at home is actually well set up, properly defended. And I think at this point, I mean, look at these supplies. I mean, I'm hearing Todd at this point.
I'm so sorry.
The numbers don't lie.
You know, actually, it's funny you bring that up because I've been thinking about that for a while. I feel like Serral set the standard because that was his style of play, really. Then you have players like Rainer picking up, became popular, so then all these other Zergs started doing it, and Terran had to play around this. So even though none of these Terrans played Serral, Serral still made them change their play style.
That is so many Marines, by the way, on the bottom side. Holy
plus
hell.
2 weapons as well. This is going to be insane. Unless the sickest Baneling connections happen. TLO might just base trade this as a better option, and I don't blame him.
Nope, I don't blame him either, but it's going to be very hard to get into the natural. But maybe a couple of Banelings. Look at those SCVs. They're so clumped up. Send the Banes into the SCVs, no?
I don't think so. This isn't economic trades, right? Like, he's got to win the army fight so he can push through, because he's not going home. He goes home, he loses this fight. Oh no, this is just so bad for TLO. He heals 13 SCVs out of everything for the attack. That's super not worth it.
I love that uThermal still has a mini drop as well on the right top side, still being annoying, picking up a couple of drones there as well. And this army on the south side of the map is still looking incredibly healthy.
And I just realized uThermal does have eyeballs on the top base, so it's not like he doesn't know about TLO's expansion northwards. Taking down this base down here was nice, but it's like scratching the surface of a Zerg player who still has 4 base economy.
Yeah, but that base that he has in like basically the center of the map is going to be very hard to defend, right? Because if uThermal ever wants to push that through the middle, I mean, there's no real creep there protecting that base either. I look at it, oh my god, that army is massive. What the hell? It looks so big.
Yeah, both sides have actually managed to ramp this up really nice. But at the end of the day, you know, TLO going Hydras instead of say Mutas, he can't catch all these drops. He's not been able to properly clean them up and deter them. So uThermal's just been getting with a lot, and there hasn't been a lot of depth to this game, but when you look at the resources lost, it's so heavily favoring uThermal.
Actually, lagging a bit. I don't know if you're lagging as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing that too. I was like, Sorry, I forgot his F rate. If it's still lagging and unplayable for some reason, we can rewind it. But it looks like that's settled, so cool. Shout out to the Battle.net servers, Small Indie Company.
Careful now.
You know what? Because obviously we're very StarCraft people. I had a friend who works at Riot make that same joke. I'm like, oh, I thought you worked at Riot, not Blizzard.
I mean, uThermal's army is still looking mighty fine in the middle of the map. Dario did clean up the little drop, maybe waiting for his +2 attack. He's setting up the flank, so here we go. He's trying to engage, but it's off creep, man. It's off creep against so many Marines.
It's off creep and it was like ill-timed. Those two sides needed to converge perfectly simultaneously, but the left side went in a little too early, a little too fast. The big thing about splitting those tank fires, like you want them firing in 2 different directions, not focused one then the other. So for TLO, I know he wants this engagement, but he's got to take it precisely or he doesn't stand a chance because he's down 40 army supply. You pointed out, there's so many Marines on the map. There's 102 Marines, Roddy.
Yeah, that's... okay, I wasn't crazy. It was indeed that many Marines. I was about to say, I was like, I really feel this Terran army is
Roddy's like, I don't want to
massive.
balance wine as a Protoss, but that Terran army looks pretty good.
No, but I really love the way uThermal has played this. And look at the units lost resource tab as well. It's 10k against 5k. I think that kind of tells the tale of this game, right?
Yes, but I didn't realize TLO had gotten a hive tech while we were speaking, and he does have Vipers popping out. Blinding Clouds could give him an engagement on creep. He's down in supply, sure, but Banelings can make a huge difference if those tanks can't snipe them off.
The thing as well, though, is that I feel like TLO doesn't just need to win the fight. He needs to absolutely dominate, crush it, and then counterattack and deal damage.
There's a lot on his plate. There's no question about it.
Yeah, it's he doesn't just have one job, Riff. He's got a couple.
But you know what? If there's one guy, the APM of a god, 1000 APM, keyboard on fire, TLO would be the guy to try and pull that off. So I'm not going to count him out or anything, but you're right. He's got a lot to do if he wants a chance to win. uThermal still got like a 2,000 mineral bank. When do you ever cast a game of StarCraft 2 where it's the late game and Terran has the bank? Like, what?
Yeah. And all 55 SCVs or something as well, by the way. It's just because uThermal has not been losing any units.
Yeah, he hasn't had to rebuild. I don't think, has he lost any medevacs this game? Okay, a couple, never mind. But he's not been losing a lot of these drops like you conventionally see.
Nope, he's getting closer and closer towards this next fort base of TLO. And obviously, since this is Legacy of the Void, the main base and the natural are pretty much useless at this point.
Yeah.
So this hatchery is very, very important.
There's not much creep spread to work with here. He knows it. He's being very cautious about this. I think right now he really wants to abduct those tanks more than Blinding Cloud them.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I agree.
There we go. Grabs him right into the bow. Oh, I love the Blinding Cloud on the bio instead of the tanks, though. Bio on the top side pushes through. More Blinding Clouds, but the Hydras are not numerous enough. TLO wins the southern fight, but uThermal wins the northern fight. Army supplies are a lot closer now, though.
Yeah, I think Dario did pretty good there, but I just don't think it's enough. I think he was just a little too far behind. Maybe one more Blinding Cloud and Banelings, but the answer is no.
I'm pretty positive he focus fired those, by the way. I don't think that was just auto attacks. uThermal is so sick. That was a great game. Well, it's game 2. We won't do full intros, but just a quick recap. It is a best of 5. This is the semifinals for the January series. We have over $1,000 being played for today. And with 1 point on the board, uThermal's looking pretty fantastic. But what the fuck is this map, dude?
Yeah, now the map is wild. It basically has a top side and a bottom side.
This map looks like Thanos. Like the bottom side looks like Thanos' chin. I can't get over this.
Yeah, no, I can see the face as well. It also feels like, you know how the Fnatic team, the logo, the old logo?
Oh, I can
It's
kind of see
kind of,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I see every single time I load into this map. But
So
it's really cool. The cool thing about this map, yeah, sorry, before you continue, is that some games it feels like they try to mine out the minerals in the back of their main, and they just kind of full wall off in their natural, and then all the fighting happens on the bottom side of the golden wall. And
yeah,
then some games it's just normal, and all the fighting happens on the top side.
I guess well, first time I see why it's called Golden Wall, but fascinating base layout here. I don't know if I like or hate this. I know that the last like half a year of StarCraft 2, they've been experimenting with minerals, and to be honest, I am not a fan of this. The whole mineral ramp block shit, like I'm over it. It was cool in Thunderbird. We don't need it anymore, in my opinion. But
Well,
I do love this idea where the middle of the map is split until you mine this out. Then it's open. That's kind of cool.
Well, the thing is, like, Thunderbird is a bit different because that was used mostly in a cheesy way, right? Because you just needed to mine like 10 minerals or something, and then you could go through. But this map, like, obviously it takes a long time because those mineral patches are like 20 minerals.
Well,
So it's not like you can really use it to rush. But I like it if you're like contained, you know, if you're contained in the natural, then you can actually mine out the back of your base, and then the game can continue again.
It's like a backdoor type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so my opinion of the mineral patches are kind of as follows, right? It's like the air blockers. It's a cool gimmick, but I hate that they're forcing it on like every single map, right? Like one map or two maps, okay, sure. But it feels like every season there's more and more of these mineral wall maps, and you're like, you know what?
Well, air blockers are stupid. I agree with that. They are stupid.
But the thing is, I agree too, because the AI is just not meant to deal with them. But I think once in a while, it's okay to see them. Not all the time, obviously, and that's how I feel about the mineral patch walling thing that's been going on. I want to see, I know that Mapmaker made the water slides.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That sounds so cool.
Fun.
I love the idea, the concept that blew me away.
No, I've actually played a couple of games on it, and I even let Raynor and Cero play one game on it when they were off race. I find that map super fun. Everybody, like literally everyone that I see that plays that map for the first time, has the same like 12-year-old boy reaction as I had, you know, where it's like you start giggling, you're like, oh my god, this is so fun. Like, yes, we need this in life.
And that's the thing, because I think any player would have that opinion the first time they see it. You know who feels like that about mineral patches? Nobody.
No, that's true, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can see that you're not a fan, so I'm not gonna try to change your opinion, but I think they did a good job with it on this map. I really think they did.
Yeah, well, actually, the way you've described it, I could get down with it. Like, if I saw this and none of the other ones, then I'd probably have a very different opinion. I just don't like where it's been leading to this point. Regardless, we'll see if that comes into effect or not. I'm really excited to see the potential of it. But
no, like for instance on Zen, I agree with you. I feel like they're just kind of there for no real reason.
What is the one they put in the natural base that makes it almost impossible to wall off for Terran? Like it's why?
Yeah, I mean they've changed one of them now into rocks, but wow, once again, by the way, 3-minute and 30-second Roach Warren, so he does it once again.
Well, this time it's going to be aided by the acceleration of a gold mineral base. So this one's not going to hurt as much to make. And that gold base is really fascinating to me because on one hand it looks great. Oh, it's your third base is a gold. Who doesn't want that? But then you're like, okay, well there'll be like 2 Marines on this side just free firing on the drones, or a tank or something.
Or just a Viking or some Hellions, right? Getting dropped by a medevac. That's the thing. Like,
you can't get there with it always mining out the back, so you will be able to get there.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if you have to run back and forth from the bottom side of the map to the top side of the map. That takes forever. Yeah. You have to go through your main base, through your natural. I mean, that just takes so freaking long. So it's risky, I think, what Dario is doing here.
I guess you just hope to mine out the 900 mineral patch very quickly. So you got an opening in the wall.
I mean, you can mine out the middle too, but it takes a little while. Hellions are actually going to try to drive into the natural.
Okay,
risky move.
This is where this is where the roaches, I think, are a bit of a long con, if you will, right? Last game he invested in the roaches in a weird way. It cost him the game, whatever. This time he makes it look similar, but it's a very different play with a much faster layer. So I wonder how much of that factors into TLO's thoughts, where he's like, look, like I may or may not have this work in game 1, but it'll set me up for a fake out in game 2, because he is the kind of guy to think that far ahead.
Do you think there is a chance that he maybe like Niduses or something and uses like the extra minerals he's getting from the gold base? To...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a fast layer. He's gonna have all these extra resources, 3 queens pumping at a time. Totally something I can see happening. And look, the overlords with speed. He's down for the speed overlords. So that's all about scouting.
Wait, why is there a drone going to the other side of the map? Dario, what are you doing? Is he gonna start mining or
start mining? Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
This is so weird. Like, and now SCVs are mining on the other side. Like,
Teamwork, baby. It's the Team Liquid teamwork makes the dream work.
oh, that's so funny.
Okay, well, the Overlord gets a really good scout here, right? It sees everything uThermal's been doing. The only thing it doesn't see is the faster third, and this is where I kind of like this base layout. It gives the opportunity to maybe hide a building like that.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah,
TLO,
the main base is massive.
it's scary. 2-base Terran all-ins are some of the most terrifying things to hold off in the early game, right? But it's not a 2-base Terran all-in. It just kind of looks like that because TLO hasn't seen a third anywhere. Meanwhile, TLO has a gold base. This is third, so this game's all kinds of topsy-turvy compared to our normal
the work
StarCraft.
account is like not that good for Dario, but then obviously he has been mining off that gold base, so
Yeah.
that kind of makes up for it. Man, this is gonna be weird because, like I said, I feel like either all the fighting happens on the top side or on the bottom side, but now it's gonna be like Dario's expanding at the top while uThermal's expanding at the bottom, and it's just gonna get really weird.
So TLO is he's on the bottom, and I guess I feel bad for Whiff now. She has to do all the work.
I'm not gonna go there, mate.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Whiff, if you ever hear this. Of course, this is still a pretty big problem because this base, even with the wall off, like it, I can see TLO also taking this to the top side at some point.
I mean, he's all inning though, Riff. Like, let's
Yeah.
look at the production tab. He's producing nothing but Lynx, Roaches, Ravages, a couple of extra Overlords. He hasn't built a drone in forever.
And no fourth
so
base.
Dario is all
Yeah.
inning, but how is he gonna pull this off?
Well, okay, I can see. Okay, Ravagers break the wall similar to the Bantlings would, right? Kurosabow's gonna land on this pretty freely, but it's not gonna make it any easier to get on top of the siege tanks. And that's a lot of damage to take this early.
Yep. I like, by the way, he's been mining out the minerals in the middle of the map, and that's exactly what you want to do, so you can actually reinforce a lot quicker.
Well, that's
those extra shots he took there, those were painful.
before I made that completely inappropriate joke. That's kind of what I was getting into. Where I think he will just try and have uThermal's army be in the wrong spot. It's really hard to reposition. Yeah, this is so sick.
That's kind of cool, and he's getting a drop alert as well. Where is that? Okay, he's getting it on his side of the map. Well, here we go. That single bunker is going to go down very quickly. So this is actually a very cool move. Let's see if Dario can find the economic damage that he's looking for. The E-bays are here as well, but 1-1 is done.
Well, he's at least going to push off his base. A drop went northwards. uThermal didn't pull that back. He's still queuing that around the map. Commander dies! No! That should not have died to Roaches! That is unacceptable, uThermal. No liftoff. Absolute chaos. I don't know what's going on right now, Roddy, but uThermal has absolutely been flustered by this. And for TLO, killing that base makes this so worthwhile.
Yeah, I think at this point, Dario can actually start building a couple of Roaches again and just get another attack going. I mean, I wouldn't hate a Spire, but I don't know what he's going to do. Hydra then is an option as well. Oh, he just fires a Hive? Okay. All right, why not?
I mean, he's got the freedom to do it. This drop in the top side is going to cancel a base. And I think TLO was actually looking to take another one, so that drone gets caught out. He will have to respond to this. He can't just ignore a drop, unfortunately. But a good amount of gold has been mined from this base. He's going to need a real base soon. Just got to get that base up and running.
I gotta say, that's a very big pickup though, right? We kind of just look at it and we're like, yeah, okay, he gets a cancel on the fourth base, but we all know how quickly gold bases can run out.
Yeah, it's like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, Dario is mining out all kinds of little mineral patches in the middle of the map, but that's not really gonna make him rich.
It's like
so not having a fourth base is a pretty big deal.
It's just like worker ants, you know, they're just collecting up all the stuff on the ground. It's kind of cool and funny to see. It does, of course, conversely open up the pathways for uThermal as well, but with creep spread like this, TLO is going to be the one taking advantage of this, no doubts.
I think if uThermal didn't lose that orbital, he actually would have been in a pretty good position, because just Roaches and Lynx, especially with the upgrades that Dario has, they will eventually fall off, but yeah, getting an orbital is massive, right? Like, that's something that you can absolutely work with as a Zerg player.
There's this weird bug that came with the patch that I don't know what happened, where you know how you can double zoom out?
Yes.
When you do that, it makes supply depots look like they're unpowered if they're lowered into the ground.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at your vision right now.
Yeah, I don't know why it does that. I hate it, though. But I'm like, of course Terran buildings can't be unpowered, but that's my first thought when seeing it.
We're getting a Hydra den right now, by the way, so it's very late, because Hive is already done. So it seemed like that Dario just wanted to get Vipers above anything else.
Yeah. Plus, well, we should know, TLO is one of the few Zerg players who really like Lurkers versus Terran when given the opportunity, so that could be paired up here with the Hive tech.
His Overlord spotted the double draw, by the way, if you throw him on the south side of the map, so that's very well done. I mean, these Marines will still have some firepower, but the roaches are scaring them away for now.
I feel this is a really weak response, actually. Like, just 7 roaches. The rest of the army's still in the middle of the map. He's not chasing this down. These medevacs, he's got to be careful with these.
There we do have that RotterdaM, by the way, that you mentioned. And uThermal is just going to have, like, if we thought the army was big last game, this game his army is going to be even bigger. So he's got 56 workers only. He's only working off 2 orbitals. He hasn't built a worker in forever. uThermal is basically maxing out on 2-2 Marine tank. He is pretty damn all in. But his army is going to be hard to kill, man. Without banelings, this is going to be a very, very hard army to kill.
I really like that he went right past the main, by the way. Didn't even stop because he was looking for the big damage here in the natural. This is a big threat. Blinding Clouds help out a ton with this, but left uncontested, this would have killed the upgrades, the hive, the drones. Of course, out of position, here comes that attack to the south.
Yep, it does allow uThermal to get his massive army to the other side of the map. His Marines didn't stim, by the way, in the back of the natural. I feel like if they would have stimmed, they would have done a lot more damage. I mean, obviously this base is super dead. How's Dario going to clean up this army? He's got Vipers. He's going to need some very good abducts and blinding clouds.
He's actually going to cross the map. He's going to kill production. This is going to hurt uThermal a lot too. Both players are going to take huge damage from this.
Yeah, imagine if those SCVs were there just a little bit quicker to repair the depot. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen, Riff. It's going to be chaos. Take it away. It's all yours.
Well, this is where you put the ace 1 and the ace 2 emote in the chat if you got it, guys, because we are in base trade territory. But with things like lurkers and blinding clouds, TLO actually has a defensive position here. Not normally something you can say about Zerg, but this is going to be very tough for uThermal to push down that ramp into the lurkers, especially if a blinding cloud hits.
Tanks are going to be shooting at the hive, though, so that's going to be really awkward.
Another orbital goes down to roaches and ravagers. Oh, abducts on the tanks are pretty sick, too. Grabs them into the spine crawlers. Line in the sand has been drawn. TLO says you will not pass.
Oh, I love that. He's just picking up all of these tanks one by one. uThermal had a lot of tanks, but suddenly he has lost quite a few of them. uThermal has just no mining at all, by the way. 0 at this point.
I feel like, I don't know if you Wardy's got this channel points where you can abduct a mothership. I feel like that's what's happening here. Just yoink again. Another siege tank comes in. And of course, uThermal's lost everything on the other side of the map. So it is ultimately a huge base trade no matter how you paint the picture. And uThermal he's got to break this. He has to break this. Blinding Clouds.
Well, he only has one medevac. Oh my goodness, I can't do this.
He can't scan. He can't scan and he knows it. He lost all the orbitals. Lurkers are so sick, TLO. All right, let's do the intros real quick. Top left, once again, we have our Red Terran. Hell of a series. Things tied up now 1-1. It's
uThermal
rocking that Team Liquid tag. And actually, I just realized from here to the finals, it's all Team Liquid, baby. Of course it is. So, his opponent to the bottom right, his teammate, his brother-in-arms, it is
TLO.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but you're right. It is a guaranteed all Team Liquid final. I have to say that I think this is going to be a very good StarCraft year for Team Liquid. I think obviously with the pickup of Clem, I think uThermal having a better shot this year because Terran is a little bit better and the maps are going to be a bit better.
Plus TLO being on the up and up.
Exactly. Like I know that IM Katowice was actually very disappointing for them. I know that they expected a lot more. They've been working very hard towards the event. But we know how it goes in StarCraft, right? Like if you work really hard for one event, you don't always show your improvement immediately. But it is counting towards something. And it may not be the first event, but maybe if Dallas actually continues, hopefully.
Okay, so I know you worked it, so you're going to have a very different opinion than me. But I kind of actually feel like IM Katowice.
Yeah.
It felt weird in terms of placement, like having this massive tournament. Not in terms of StarCraft, because it happens every year, right? But people wanted to build this up to be this thing. Artosis thought it was something that it wasn't. Like, there seemed to be a lot of misunderstanding of what IM Katowice was this year. And I think some of the results I saw kind of made me feel like it felt like that too for the players. I know it wasn't the case, but that's how it felt for me at least. And I
think the players actually, for the players, it's a very good experience. I generally mean, like compared to the other events, I think IM Katowice is one of the best playing experiences you're going to have as a competitor.
Sure, and I'm not making any arguments against that. But what I'm just saying is I think the next tournament, whatever, is Dallas, I think, is the next one that was supposed to happen, but now we don't know the fucking Corona shit. I think that one's, for whatever reason, I just feel like that's going to be a bigger deal for a lot of the players than Katowice was, just because it's not the first one of the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and obviously there is maybe a little bit more hope for certain players to have a deeper run. Like Katowice is incredibly stacked, right?
Oh my god, dude, there was no bad matchups, like, at all.
No, and like if you beat like 1 or 2 top Europeans, you can
Yes.
normally go pretty deep in the WCS event. But
Is he
at IM
faking the roach?
Katowice, you're gonna have to beat top Koreans. Different ballgame.
I wonder if TLO was faking the roach with that drone or not, because he left it in a spot that looked like he was going to put a roach horn down without
Yeah.
putting it down, made sure the Reaper saw it, or if that
Yeah,
was
good
just like a
eye
mistake.
actually. I saw that as well. Yeah, good eye.
Because for me, I'm keeping an eye on this roach thing, because it really feels like there's some mind game element to this. I can't describe it better than that. It just, that's what it feels like. But it worked in the
Yeah.
last game, so I can't knock it either.
Whoa, that's a lot of overlords, by the way. That he's queuing up. That's a lot of overlords. What is he gonna do?
Well,
What?
normally you would do this if you had a roach warren, because you're making room for supply for the roaches. I don't know.
Second, I thought he was about to do something very crazy with like an insane amount of Zerglings or something, but
Well, you
that
know what?
doesn't really seem to be the case at all.
It's not an insane amount of Zerglings, but it's a pretty good amount of damage from just 2. Stalls out one of the depots, which leads to a possible supply block. No, he's back on it. And grabs 2 workers and gets a scout in the main base. Yo, TLO's 2 lings are seriously like the MVPs of this game already.
Yeah. He's like, I saw you being annoying with your Reaper, and I will call you and I will raise you with my Zerglings.
Yeah, the Zerg Reapers, if you will, I guess. But Banshee's Cloak, so a different approach to things from uThermal, and this is something that definitely catches Zerg players off guard nowadays. This used to be the standard, right? Every Terran opened with Hellion Banshee for years. And it hasn't been the case for so long that now when Terran players do Banshees, it's very surprising. Like there's not going to be any detection. We're not on
Okay, it's
layer.
very important that TLO doesn't take doesn't take too much damage on his first 2 queens. Because sometimes Zerg players are just like, oh yeah, I'll take damage against the Hellions. The Hellions are not going to kill the queens anyway.
Oh.
And then suddenly the Banshees show up, right? And then queens start falling left and right.
Yeah, and the timing on this Spore Crawl is really tight. Like this is going to finish up barely in time, like literally as the Banshee arrives. Oh, but the positioning here.
It's indeed very sharp. Yeah, so far, I think a much better economic setup for TLO, right? This time he didn't do that damage to his own economy by building all those roaches. There is a good chance, indeed, like you were going over mind games. Like these two obviously know each other very well. They play a lot of games. Maybe Dario knows that uThermal hates those like roach ling openings, and that's why he sort of did it and makes it seem like there is a chance that he's going to do it again, and then he doesn't actually do it. Like we don't really know what happens in the mind of like 2 teammates that obviously play a lot of games against each other that we are not aware of.
Yeah, and the kind of cool thing that some of you guys may not be too privy to, these guys like get on top of each other for their mistakes. There's no ego with the Team Liquid training camps. Like they point out mistakes, they point out weaknesses, because they don't want to have them abused against them, obviously, in tournaments, and they want to elevate the play for everybody. These Banshees, by the way, do really good micro work.
Yep. Yeah. uThermal's doing a very good job with his Banshee. Still has his Hellions alive as well. The Hellions can always decide to dive back in. But I don't know if this is a mistake, but Dario never started +1 melee or +1 range, while he does have 2 Evo chambers next to each other. So that's kind of odd.
Yeah, if he needed the gas so desperately for upgrades, that could be one thing, but he's got a lot of gas to work with. Now his melee starts up. Banshees still need to be dealt with. I love this too, because you can obviously outrange the Spore Crawler. It's a little bit more difficult to outrange the Queens. And he's gotten maximum damage out of these. I feel like the value of these Banshees was really good.
Hellions are gonna try their luck, but Zerglings and Banelings are still waiting for Dell, so the Hellions are actually not as successful as the Banshees were. Oh, now the second Banshee goes down as well. Well,
So
I think overall it was all right for Dario. Oh my god, he lost 19.
As you
Didn't
say,
feel
that's
that
more than that's, you know, it's funny, like that's so many drones lost, but the fact that he's still ahead in workers speaks leaps and bounds about that big economic lead for the opening.
Yep. And obviously he still has like a little window, I think, as well, before he really needs to start producing extra units. Not much, but uThermal's still stuck on his side of the map. He's not moving out. Obviously, if he picks up all of his Marines right now and 20 Zerglings show up, he's going to be in trouble. That's why he had to wait just a few more seconds for a few more units to show up.
Plus you got the
So
wall
I think
set up on the
Dario's
right
in an
side.
alright spot.
Yeah, the Spire. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna like this a little bit more than the Hydras we saw before. The Burrow play is something I'm really excited about because TLO is really good. You and I have cast a lot of games together actually, where like bailing landmines make big explosive moments.
Yeah, or sometimes we wait for 12 minutes and then it doesn't happen. That's the worst.
Blue balls. But TLO is exceptionally good. I would say better than most Zerg players at hiding them on the fly. Like a lot of people can set up a bailing landmine. That's whatever. That's not that impressive. TLO's really good at doing it like in the middle of battle and making nobody see it. It's so sick watching him do this. So I'm really hyped for this burrow play. It doesn't seem like much, but it might just be.
Yeah. I'm very hyped for his economy, man. He's finally getting into that like 80 drone economy that we want to see Zerg players at. He's even getting a few more now. He's starting his 2-2 upgrades at the same time at this point as well. So yeah, let's go. Let's start producing some links and baits and set up some traps.
So I agree with you entirely, but also take a quick look at the income graph, because that is a lot more back and forth than I expected it to be. I thought this would be like a very blue income graph. It is now, but...
Yeah, I guess he had to wait a little bit until that 4th base was really up and running, right? Because 3 base against 3 base is always going to be good for Terran.
2 drops from 2 different sides. This TLO has to split properly here. Not too much to one side and not too little on the other.
Yeah, actually it's kind of unfortunate because I feel like he has almost nothing protecting his base on the south side of the map. Now he's going to send a couple of Zerglings and they're going to run into those Marines.
But it's a good thing he sees them now rather than when it's too late. And there's some burrow play, by the way. So maybe hoping they run on top of them.
You kind of don't want to burrow on the creep, right? You kind of want to burrow off.
Right, because the idea is that Terran are going to be scanning to clean up the creep tumors and they'll see you anyways. But I think here, because it's not been revealed. At this moment, uThermal has, there's no visual indicator for it. He has no idea that burrow is actually a thing.
I love it. I love it. Where they are right now, I think that's a very good spot.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult to see coming. And it's off creep too, which is even better. But yeah, going back to the mutas, like he can actually catch the medevacs now, right? When he had Hydras before, he could fight the fights, but he couldn't actually kill the medevacs. These can chase them down if he needs to.
I actually kind of like the Banes in the middle of the map as well, because it's more likely that uThermal scans a tiny bit deeper than what he actually did, right? It's like normally you wouldn't scan half off creep. So there is actually a chance that he misses those banelings with a scan. And that'd be amazing for TLO. By the way, also a big shout out to Drilling Claws as well. For the first time today, we're gonna see Drilling Claws, and I think that often makes for very exciting matchups.
I got a lot of sweat left over from last night's Drilling Claws at the TvZ tournament. Braddock pulled off some really sick moves with Widow Mines. I think there's like 50 mutas at a point that got hit by 3 or 4 of them. It was pretty dope.
Oh my goodness.
I actually cast the dumbest. I've never seen a game, Roddy, where there's like 300 dead mutas in a matchup, but 2v2s are wild.
Yeah, I feel like 2v2 are very hit or miss, right? Like either super lame or super freaking awesome.
Yeah,
like
it's either
really
one-sided or back and forth. You're right. There's no like in between. But I love the infestors. I love passing. I love fungal growths for this.
Oh, Banelings. Banelings very close to Widow Mine.
Oh, good bait, but also good response. Ooh!
Oh, really good bait. Oh, really good bait.
Looks like a Baneling took a squad of units out over here. Not too many. But yeah, the Widow Mines are so risky. They're gonna help with the mutas, so they're better than tanks. But getting that shot that uThermal just got, he's not going to always get good trades like that.
I mean, uThermal is maxed out once again, and they haven't done that much trading. The 2-2 upgrades are done as well, so this could very well be the moment. He scans and he sees the Banelings. That's a big moment. Yeah.
I hope he realizes, though. I don't think he did. I think he just auto-attacked thinking he thought like he had a creep tumor or something. Fungal growth! Massive fungal growth!
Few more Banelings trying to connect as well. Man, and what a good start so far for TLO. Like, uThermal barely left his own base, and he's already being pushed back.
Yeah, TLO's creep spread's actually kind of wild right now. Nice split in the links, last second reaction. So we got landmine versus landmine set up here. It's the weirdest standoff.
What is this, the First World War or something? Like,
yeah, dig those trenches out, right? Oh, big fungal once again. He helps catch that Thor. This thing is supposed to live forever. Doesn't live very long.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of lame to compliment Zergs on their creep spread ability in 2020, but Terrio is actually very good at this. This mini-map is starting to look very good for him. Well, I'm actually impressed, man. He's looking mighty fine in this game.
I think it's exceptionally worth complimenting in this series because uThermal's been all over, like bouncing back and forth map. You'd think this creep would have been kept at bay by now. And scans ahead. Oh, dude, he's onto this. He's onto Dario now. There's no question about it.
Yeah, these scans are almost like somewhat defensive scans, but it's gonna be so hard for him to push. You look at the production tab. Ultras are right now on the way. The Great Aspire is already morphing, and sure, maybe a base goes down here, but Dario has plenty of bases. He's got all the tech. He's got a little bit of money in the bank. He didn't have any gases running here anyway, so not that big of a deal.
I think
I'm starting to get a little worried for uThermal.
I mean, these Brood Lords, there's Ultra. Losing some drones at this point actually may even favor him because it just makes room for these higher tech units.
Zergling counterattack maybe into the tanks?
Oh, friendly fire's a hell of a drug, Roddy.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a lot worse, but in the end, those two tanks do go down. There's another Widowmine though. Oh my goodness, it didn't fire. uThermal wants to fight, by the way. The ultras before, well, I want to say kindness is done. Whoa, he didn't start kindness. Uh-oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah, that's coming a little bit late, but you know what? The Broodlords, I think, are the real, like, what he's aiming for here. The ultras are just like icing on a cake.
I mean, he started those before he started the Greatest Fire, but I think you're right. I like how uThermal just accidentally finds another base on the right top side.
Another no lift? This is... Okay, that's a big problem for uThermal today. He lost like 3 orbitals already prior to this game from the other series, not lifting. Those Zerglings just killed an orbital.
Yeah, but at the same time, uThermal did take out 2 hatcheries, but you're spot on. Like, that's super unnecessary, of course.
I think it hurts more when you've got a game where TL is burrowing a lot of units. You need all those scans, right? There's no Raven with this army. So losing an orbital is losing a scan. That's a lot of eyesight removed from possible burrows and detection. That's what's got me worried about that orbital going down.
I know, absolutely. Fortunately for uThermal, he has a little bit of money that he could potentially use to get a few more orbitals defensively, while Dario's starting to bleed out a lot of units into those Widow Mines.
Yeah,
and
but he's still got the Broodlords, he's still got the Infestors, right? The important units are surviving.
But I mean, he's now at 174 supply, and he's very deep off creep. There's actually quite a few Vikings out already as well.
There's like 3 seconds before Chitinous Plating is completed.
Yeah, but uThermal is actually attacking again on the other side of the map, and if he takes out this base too, that's where it's really starting to hurt for Dario, man. Because he's not maxed out. Those Banelings did a very good job in connecting with those bio units.
And even if the mutants were somehow taken out, the Spore Crawlers were there, I think TLO had this fine. uThermal's got a massive bank right now, but he's just... I feel like he doesn't have ghost production, right? He doesn't have the tools he needs to deal with these late game units. Like, he's a great micro player, but there's very few people who can win a game of Marine Marauder versus Broodlord Ultralisk Infestor.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the job of the Vikings and also Liberators, because he even has advanced ballistics already, but we don't have a lot of Liberators. We actually have none at this point, and I think it's even worth mentioning that he doesn't have that many Metavacs, because obviously eventually you're going to have to produce a couple of Metavacs as well.
We also just have like tech maxing out for both players. Like, they've got everything researched. We got building armor coming out of uThermal even.
I like how they're fighting in the left bottom and in the right top. Like, how often do you see that? This map is big, by the way, from left bottom to right top.
This base won't go down. This is without building armor. It's holding on very well. Kills one of the ultras. God damn! Still loses the planetary.
That was not a cheap pickup, but in the end he does get it. I like how there's a couple of random queens in the middle of the map. It's good by TLO that he's paying attention. You don't really want to lose those, because those were the ones keeping the Broodlords alive at first.
Well, there's that, and he just keeps spreading this creep. uThermal's spending so much scans cleaning up the same creep tumors over and over again. I just, again, for TLO, like, I agree. It's usually not worth talking about Zerg creep. It's kind of filler comment, but I think this Zerg creep here, this aggressive creep, has been really good for TLO.
Right. Did you see early game as well? He walked a queen pretty deep off creep, and then dropped some creep with an overlord, and then dropped the creep tumor. And that's a creep tumor that's still there, by the way, like above his natural base. Kind of cute.
TLO's the kind of guy to build like a hatchery, cancel it, so you can put creep tumors down. Like, I love when he does stuff like that. But even with a couple Brood Banelings here, you know, uThermal scanning, he's being very cautious. He's not taking any risks, and he can't afford to. He's got a good army supply. Don't get me wrong, chat, but this is like, again, no ghosts, not that many liberators, not a great late game army.
Not really where he wants to be yet, but we'll see if he can make something happen. Even accidentally build a Reaper, apparently. There's a Reaper in the middle of the army on the right top side. Don't ask me why, but it's there. This is a wild game. It's definitely a fun game, though, because at this point, I actually don't know who's winning. Like, who is winning this game? Is it uThermal because he's maxed out? I
think it's TLO. I like TLO's position a lot. He's got a huge bank to work with right now. And I don't think any of these fights have really favored uThermal. Like, he's killing bases, and that's great, but he doesn't win the army battles.
Well, I'm just happy that we neither of us are very sure.
TLO starts donating like a single Ultralisk at a time. I don't know what that engagement was.
Yeah, also lost a base on the left bottom side during all of this. Don't forget that we still have Broodlords, even though they haven't really done anything in a very long time. Eventually they show up and they will force uThermal to abandon this position. I mean, but this is kind of the sign of a good game, right? If it's like, I think uThermal's winning, you're like, I kind of like TLO's position, and I'm not gonna fight you over it because there is just a lot of stuff happening.
So I'm actually with you. Like it is difficult to tell, and it's gonna just take one bad battle for this to really tip over either way. Like one good fungal growth removes uThermal's army. One really good engagement, like the one we just saw, keeps killing the big tech units like the ultras. This really is player control. And again, it's not a TvZ. It's uThermal versus TLO, and it's so sick that this is going to the levels that it is.
It is insane indeed that this is a 19-minute game where uThermal has been maxed out for quite some time, and we have not seen a single ghost. But it's obviously a decision that he's making, not because of a mistake, but no, this is just the way that he wants to play.
Yeah.
I guess he wants to outmaneuver the army, sort of, and then just
Well,
kind of like overwhelm it, right, in pure force.
This is where I suspect this has a lot to do with that TLO uThermal dynamic. If TLO knows that uThermal's not really a ghost player for the late game, then these infestors that he invested in so early make even more sense. What the fuck? They make even more sense. Oh, sorry, it's just the changeling party. I was like, oh, there's a run by to the top right. Oh, it's just 50 changelings.
Well, it could be a run by as well. It's just not a very effective one.
Yeah, there's 8 more infestors coming out. You know, Microbial Shout's a meme. We're never going to see that. But these fungal growths are going to be endless.
uThermal has done a pretty good... Oh, some friendly fire there once again, but a lot of links going down too. Dario has to be careful though, because he's expanding everywhere, but he doesn't have that bank anymore. And I look at his army, and other than the Brute Lords, I'm not very impressed by this army, right? So
yeah,
he can't really lose like 20 Zerglings at a time. Like, oh, that's a sick fungo, by the way, from downtown. I love it.
But exactly, this is where I get jaded. TLO has less army, but he's got more damage potential. Like if these fungals land right, if the Banelings connect right.
These run-bys are really starting to hurt though. Once again, a few Marauders and Marines on the right side, getting 12 drones, and potentially, I would say, the hatchery, right? If he actually
he should be able to get the hatchery.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. And yeah, I like that TLO's actually just gonna let this go though. I think withdrawing, it takes so long for these Brood Lords to move. Withdrawing his whole army to deal with this drop, losing his position on the front lines, it'll take so long to get this position back again.
So it's all gonna come down to one big fight. Dario at this point is basically saying, I don't even care what happens on the right side anymore. Tries to land another massive fungal. This one not as successful as the one before, but...
Yo, those infestors are so baller that they walked right up to the Liberators and somehow got out without getting shot in the ass. That was impressive. That was so impressive. But man, this is tough. The Liberators obviously gonna control the ground, but so will the Brood Lords. It's tough for either player to push into the other.
Yeah, I mean, the Vipers are going to be very useful here, because abducting even just a single unit will be awesome. And don't forget about Parasitic Bomb, a super annoying spell. Like, we know the combination of Fungal and Parasitic Bomb on Vikings and Liberators. Yeah,
units that are very notorious for clumping.
Yep. Oh, and I think that's what Dario's looking for here.
No, wouldn't mind if I do. Gets an infestor. That was like a full energy infestor too.
Yep. And obviously the mine survives. I mean, it's all the little things, right?
It's so important TLO's doing stuff like this, but it's such a basic move, burrowing a Zergling at a base. But this is a stage of the game where uThermal doesn't have like the attention span to deal with that.
All right, here we go. Fungals and Parasitic Bombs are landing in the Vikings and the Liberators. That's a lot of damage, but is it enough?
It's not a lot of kills, but it is going to be if another one goes off. Like one more fungal combo like that, and that whole army's dead. Drop the bottom left, by the way. Good positioning, but the Lings are on top of this.
No medavacs there at all in that army, the main army. That's actually kind of worrisome for uThermal at this point.
Yeah, well, because he's had to put all that production into his one starport, right? So if he wants Liberators, he can't build medavacs. Now he's got 2 starports pumping. He can start making some decisions. What is
it commented doing there?
You've gotten a donation on stream before, right? This is like I think he's donating it to TLO.
Like, hello TLO, big fan of all your streams. Here's a comment center. Keep up the hard work, buddy.
Yeah, much love from Germany.
Yeah. From the Netherlands in this case. But...
Oh yeah, true enough. Yeah, sorry. But okay, so the Hydra transition's odd to me. I thought this was gonna go straight to Lurkers, especially with the range tech. And I think Lurker Broodlord actually sounds like such a sick combo.
Yeah, but can he really get there? I mean, he's been hovering around 170, 180 for basically forever.
Yeah.
He's not doing a very good job in like securing new bases, so eventually he's going to be really starving. I don't know, man. That seems like a risky move. As a straight-up army, it sounds sick. By the way, Liberator's getting a few more drones here and there. That's also nice.
Yeah, taking advantage of the position on the map. I mean, if TLO needs to deal with this, he does have a huge corruptor count still. Yeah, grab a couple of those Liberators. The upgrades though, all over the place, man. But TLO's had to spend all this money on upgrades that isn't going to army. But once that finally upgrade completes, like his army's gonna be so much better for it. But he's got no money to work with.
I'm so not used to not seeing any ghosts at all. But
Right?
the more I look at the way that uThermal has played this, I kind of like it, man. Like the ghost would normally slow down his army. Now he's not slowed down at all.
I'm jaded though because Ghost would still be real. Like with how many infestors have been made this game, EMPs would be so valuable.
Yeah, but that's like short term, right? Then you're just thinking of an EMP in the middle of the army. Like that's always good. Like uThermal's obviously thinking of the bigger picture. He's thinking of faster units. He's thinking of dealing economic damage everywhere. He's in the left bottom side right now.
He's about to pick up
in the
Ultra
natural.
Scabbard.
He's everywhere.
He just picked off the Ultra Scabbard too. No, I agree. The mobility's definitely got some value to it. I'm not saying this is wrong, but I'm just like everything I know about this matchup is like, why is there no Ghosts?
Is uThermal surrounding TLO at this point? What is happening here? Wait, is he base trading or something? What is it? What is happening?
No,
He's just
TLO's
standing...
coming back. TLO's coming back. This just got a lot more damage done than I think even he expected. The Ultra Scabbard, the Greater Spire.
The Vikings are so clumped up. Careful. Oh my goodness, one fungal would hurt so much.
Oh, they're too far away though. He can't get it. And now this drop of the main base is good, by the way. Shut down the Bailey Nest too. Almost all the tech buildings for TLO died to this.
Oh my god, uThermal actually did that so well. Okay, in the end, Parasitic Bomb does land in his Vikings though. So a couple of Vikings go down, but they still survive. They're gonna win the battle against the Corruptors. I can't believe how well that went for uThermal. I thought that was gonna be a disaster, and it wasn't a disaster because he killed all the Corruptors.
Yeah, and he can't remake any. He only had the one Greater Spire. That got picked off by the Marauders, so that's it for the air battle. TLO's now out of air units. And he can't make more Ultras. He lost the Ultra Cavern too. So the only thing he can really do right now is make Circlings and Hydras.
Yeah, at least he still has the hive. Like he can still make a couple of Vipers, but he's gonna lose this base as well on the left top side. Don't forget, guys, that uThermal had a 5k mineral bank. So yes, he lost a lot of bio units, but he's able to remake those.
Oh, what am
the
I?
Zerglings to get some friendly fire. That's funny because that seemed like a suicide mission, and it was one in the end. But it almost felt like a sacrifice for the greater good, right?
You know what's crazy? Look at the army graph real quick, Roddy. I have never seen such a steady line before.
Which one is the army graph?
Shift A, I think is the default.
I don't know.
Okay, okay, it's like a straight line though. uThermal's had like no drop off over the last 10 minutes. I've never seen an army graph that looks like that before.
He's just keeping it the same, right? He's just working with Marines. Hey, he's making a ghost! He's making a ghost!
Oh, well, now he's lost the game.
Yeah, this is where it all goes wrong. Now, I think at this point, he probably looks at that army and he's like, okay, literally now one EMP is game-changing. And he's dropping again in the left bottom side. I don't know how uThermal's sneaking by all those drops, but he's able to get it. Look at this, another massive bio run by. He's going to snipe the Hydra then. We'll probably be able to snipe the Hive this time as well. No. And TLO is running out of steam, man. All that he has left is this one army.
He just lost everything in the front lines. The Hydras went down. There's nothing left to really shoot up but fungal growths. GG.
Wow. What a game.
26.5 minutes on the dot, guys.
Wow. Also, by the way, shout out to that ghost, you know? That ghost just popped out of the barracks 3 seconds ago and it won the game.
The cheerleader, dude.
Alright, we have once again uThermal being very annoying here. Actually lost his SUV.
And didn't finish off? Okay, because he's prioritizing the third base tonight. That's actually really smart of uThermal. I thought for a moment, like, why wouldn't you finish the Ling? But he wants that drone to build cancel because it's so close to being dead.
Yeah, this is definitely way more value, I think. Like, look at that drone. That hatchery could have already been 300 or 400 HP in, but uThermal is actually looking very good. What do you think, what would you like to see out of Dario in this game? Like, if you were Dario, his coach right now, right? Like, what do you think is his best shot in beating uThermal?
I want to see him go back to Ling Hydra. Like, I feel like the game he did it on, his economy wasn't good enough to support it. But if we see games like we did kind of, like the last one, that's the composition I want to see. Not ultras.
Oh, feisty, 3 minute, 30-second layer.
This was done immediately after the scout was taken down. Like, he waited for the
No, this is way too early. This must be either Nidus or just a super quick Spire, right?
I would hope it's not a Nidus, to be honest. I feel like, you know, Nidus, they got nerfed a little bit, but it's also people just got better at dealing with them.
But this, nah, he's taking 2 extra gases in the natural, so
I think it's gonna be Spire.
Yeah, a very quick Spire in.
Actually, Teal is really good at you. Like, he's one of those minimalist multiplayer. He'll go like 8, but still invest in +1, and he can do a lot with those.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you go up against Heli and Banshee, right? The Banshee show up and the mutas are almost out. Like, it's a very sad day to be a Banshee.
Well, just a quick reminder, folks, because this is the second and last semifinals match. We have a best of 3 bronze match and a best of 7 or 9 finals. We'll get into the details of that later. So we still have quite a bit of StarCraft today. I would kindly ask that you guys hit the follow button if you're not, though, because we have a lot more StarCraft geared up for the next week. And if you type !schedule in the chat, it'll show you all the events we have planned out for this entire month.
All right, so before these mutas are out and the Banshees on the other side of the map, Riff, tell me, other than the 2v2 qualifiers that you have coming up, what else do I have to look forward to?
Dude, well, I don't know if you'll look forward to this as much, but the Rainer holdout challenge is the next big thing everyone's looking forward to.
Can I take out Rainer?
Dude, $10 for a secured spot. Otherwise, you gotta get random in chat. But
yeah, I'll pay $10.
But yeah, it's gonna be really fun because it's all about not trying to win versus Rainer. We're inviting a lot of like noobs to come play against him and see who can get the best time surviving. We've done this with Neeb in the past, and we always.
So what can I win? What can I win? If I pay $10, can I win something?
I can't reveal it right now. We're revealing it on like the day of. But yeah, there is pricing. There is pricing. But yeah, we did this with Neeb, and there's so many Smurfs came out. You had uThermal Smurf, you had Mana Smurf, like anyway, I didn't know that it was a random account. They totally just got in through random luck, and we found out after the fact that it was them like smurfing on fake accounts.
So they actually pay $10 as well just to have a chance to play Neeb?
So the way we work it is I by default randomly pick people out of chat. Doesn't matter if you're a sub or not. But this time we're allowing people, up to 5 people, to pay $10 to secure a spot.
And how many people have done it so far?
3, I believe. Nubius, Terminator, and Slowly Falling's son, Dinozerk.
I think that's just because a lot of people don't know about this, because I think there's a lot of people who would love to play a game against Rainer. Like,
well, it's gonna be fun. We've got Rainer for 3 hours. That's coming up on, I think, the 19th. Don't get me wrong, check the schedule on the thing. Don't listen to me right now, guys. But that's coming up, I think, the 19th. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's like the next big thing outside of 2v2s.
I want to play Rainer.
I want to see
played him twice.
I want to see how long you survive versus Rainer, man.
Well, I had 2 close games against Rainer, man. I had one game that if I would have sent it to you, you would have casted it on your YouTube. It would have been a hit.
Oh, I don't doubt it, man. 10,000 views easy.
Yeah.
I'm not like Wardy. I don't rely on Koreans for my views, okay, guys? I guess Roddy any day of the week.
All right, so there is a missile turret in the main base. Look at the timing of these mutas. That's so annoying. Those barracks are going to get cancelled, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, this is that really fast layer, but also this is kind of what I talked about. TLO's like a minimalist, mutalist player. He'll take these to 25 if he wants to, but he only needs like 6 to 8 to do damage. He's got 8 exactly with +1 on the way.
Yeah, I like that they're getting +1 as well. I feel like people care so much about upgrades on ground units, and then with air units, people just look at it as a little bonus. But it's like, no. Air upgrades are just as important as ground upgrades, sometimes even more important.
More valuable in lower numbers for mutas as well, because the glaive worm, right? It's going to make that bounce to just that little bit of extra damage, and that's that extra SCV dying on the attack. But there's that.
Yeah, but also for proto stuff or Vikings. Oh.
Okay, a little spicy. TLO playing really. Look how long he's sitting that up to kill the reactor. He committed to the reactor, and he gets out of there with every single mutalisk. That was sick.
Actually very sick. Very well done. I was like, he's gonna lose like 3 mutas and it's not gonna be worth it at all. And he lost 0.
I thought for a second he was diving the Thor. I didn't even realize initially he was going for the reactor. Like, I was like, what are you doing, dude? There's a missile turret there too. You're crazy.
I actually thought the same thing, but then I realized that he stuck around with just 2 mutalisks. And I was like, okay, he's not fighting the Thor with 2 mutas, because Dario will know he's never gonna kill that.
The health bar was right in front of us, and we both have just seen that interaction dive for like the magic box on the Thor a million times, right? Like, it was weird, but I like the, I actually, big deny on the SCV, but I like the missile turret being part of the wall.
Yep, I like it. I would have preferred it to be behind the depots, but now I'm just being picky.
Well, I think the reason I'm saying part of it is just it helps build the wall faster, right? He's pretty tight on minerals. I don't think he can actually afford a bunch of extra depots.
No, I like the way it is right now, but I just meant it like on the northern side of the depot wall rather than on the southern side.
Oh,
so
yeah,
right now there's more surface area for Zerglings to attack.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And of course, it's got less HP than a depot, so it's going to bust from Banelings real quick.
Wait, double Ultralisk Cavern, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I call the Scarlet Maneuver. I cast the game a long time ago. She tried about Evo Chambers, built like 4 Ultra Caverns.
They're right next to each other as well. That's kind of funny. Okay, armies are gonna clash in the middle of the Pongo is big though on the Marines.
Wait a minute. What if he's doing this on purpose for anabolic synthesis?
Yeah, no, they're right next to each other. So I actually think he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't think he has gas for this though. I really don't think he has gas for this.
I think it's a mistake, but I do see a situation
What?
where you could get the double upgrades. That'd be cool.
I don't think it's a mistake because they're right next to each other. Like, you just don't make that mistake.
Well, we'll find out. No, it is. Okay, it's on purpose. It is absolutely on purpose. So anabolic synthesis is not an upgrade that usually comes in a big effect, but it is faster speed off of creep only. However, with the fact that now he's playing really defensive, it's not going to be that big of an upgrade, and that's a lot of gas to invest for time on that.
Oh, I love these Zerglings coming in from behind, by the way. That's really
Yeah.
good by TLO. He's picking off a couple of the reinforcements, and he's going to be able to collapse on these tanks. uThermal's aware of it as well. This fight is going to be very important, because this is the fight before the Ultras are out. The Evo Chambers are going to go down, at least one of them.
He continues to cut off reinforcements. This is good. This is a better fight he can take over here than he can take at home right now. He's waiting for the Ultras. I think once the 5 Ultras pop, he's going to go for the break on this. But losing the 2-2 upgrade, that's going to hurt those Ultras a lot.
He could actually end up losing one of these Ultra Caverns as well. Or maybe he's just going to lose the hatchery. What's going to happen? Ah.
He's trying to come in. Dude, he's trying to come in, but this is a really good split out of uThermal. Big blood splatter where the Ultra was at the natural base.
He's waiting for kindness. Oh, he doesn't have kindness plating yet. He doesn't have kindness. You can go without kindness. No way.
If he's waiting for kindness, though, that's still like another 15 seconds out.
I think he needs to wait for kindness plating.
We got Zergling's Bird in the middle of the map, by the way. I'm waiting for him to unburrow those, but the Ultras Cavern here on the top side gonna get picked off. The kindness plating upgrade does complete, but the hatchery's dead, so this is already a painful fight.
Yep, it's very painful. A lot of drones have gone down as well. And don't forget that even if kindness is done, these Ultras still only have +1 armor actually from the Evo Chambers.
Yeah.
The Infestors feel a little bit exposed. I think uThermal just has too much, man. The split, the setup, everything was just a little too good for my Terran player.
So I agree, but what's fascinating coming out of this, look at the worker count right now. Like, uThermal doesn't have a sick economy. I'm not saying TLO can break this.
Dario has nothing, man. He's got nothing, Riff. I'm sorry. He's got nothing.
I agree. He's dead. But I was just going to say, like, I see a situation where if he broke that, that might be an even situation afterwards. But nah, dead, and uThermal takes the 3-1. Congratulations. We've got a TvT Grand Finals, boys.